down in the comments or either hitting that like button, but I definitely want your comments. Let me know if you enjoyed that opening as much as I enjoyed making it. And believe it or not, there were a lot of scenes in that opening where it wasn't me that was actually, doing the stuff. So shout out to my wife Tiff for helping out on that one. So today we're doing something a little different. Not even a little different, a lot of different. January 2021, I decided I was going to kind of lay off of the booze. I had noticed a pretty extensive collection building up on this back wall of different whiskeys, different tequilas and vodkas, and I like to collect the bottles. It's just something, I guess, it's stuck with me since college. I like to collect the liquor bottles. But I do, as you saw in the opening, I make my own wine, and I'll use those bottles for the wine. Not to run off on a tangent, I just noticed, like I said, I was getting a lot of bottles. So I decided, let me just hold back. And on July 1st, actually July 4th, I actually waited till July 4th. That was actually the first time I had drank in 6 months. And I tell you, it opened my eyes and opened my brain to realize that it's not something I need. So for anybody out there who's struggling with alcoholism or has any form of dependency, you feel like you really need a drink, you don't. You will get through and get by just fine without that drink. We're doing wine, as you probably could tell from the opening and probably the title of this video. So in no way am I a master sommelier. I wanted to say Somali for some reason. I'm just regular, just like most of you who come and try to find out a good wine. So for me, going to the grocery store or going to the liquor store and you're going through the aisle, there are 1,000 bottles of wine on the shelf. If you go to an actual wine store, I mean, there's over 1 million bottles in that store. And you're trying to figure out, what's going to be a good wine. You definitely don't want to waste your money. You definitely don't want to waste your time. And you want to enjoy the bottle that you're getting. So wine is always going to be different based on what you enjoy. So, and just as everybody's taste buds are different and every single person is different, every single wine is different. There are so many different grapes out there. There's so many different combinations, so many techniques. There's just so many different everything that having some kind of guide to wine is probably going to be one of the most helpful things that you could ever find. And like I said, I'm a regular Joe. I enjoy whiskey, cigars, and full beef burgers, medium well. That's just me. So let's have at it. So today's wine is from Noble Vine. This is their 242 batch. The 242, from at least the research that I've done on the old interweb, is that the 242 batch is from a particular block or particular area of the vineyard for where those grapes were growing. If you're not familiar with wines, the Sauvignon Blanc, the Merlots, the Rieslings, the Cabernets, Sauvignon Cabernet, Cabernet Sauvignon, all of those are a particular grape. Now, it does get a little more specific and a little more in depth, and as these videos keep going, I'll try to share a little bit of the knowledge with you that I'm learning along the way, and a lot of the knowledge that I have learned along the way. Because I've been drinking wine for a long time. Not that I'm that old, but I've been drinking wine for a minute. And been researching, because that's just what I do in researching. Sauvignon Blanc is its own grape. It is native to France. I want to say specifically the Bordeaux region. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Just leave the correction down in the comments. It won't offend me. You're just helping out everyone else who decides to watch this video. Actually, anything I say, if it's wrong, put the correction in the comments. You can call me whatever you want. I'm going to read your comment and give it a like either way, because guess what? You're commenting and you're helping with the conversation. You're helping with the knowledge. knowledge so that we can all be master sommeliers. We're probably not, but anyway. So anyway, Sauvignon Blanc. The grape originated from France. However, it grows in most climates or most winemaking climates. So you can find Sauvignon Blancs made from different regions all over the world, from California to New Zealand, Australia, just pretty much everywhere. Italy, places like that, which I do enjoy Italian wines probably a little more than everybody else's, but that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, back to Noble Vines. Noble Vines, let's see, if you want, you can read right off the bottle. The legacy of the world's noblest vines is written in numbers. The numbers identify superior vine stock that produces exceptional wines. Noble Vines, you can go off the back of the label. We're not. Anyway, Noble Vines. It's been crushed, juiced, vented, however you want to call it, in California. This is an American wine. Oh yeah, my notes are down here, by the way. So if you see me looking down. Like I said, the origin of the grape is from France, and the specifics about Noble Vines is that their winery is actually right there in the vineyard. How does that make a difference? As you'll notice when you go through the wine stores or the grocery stores, when you read at the back of the bottle, they'll say like where this particular wine is bottled. But then you'll also see possibly sometimes that the wine itself was actually made in another state, another country, another continent, but it was imported, or the grapes were imported from somewhere else, and then the whole process will happen somewhere else also. This particular maker, they have their winery right there in the vineyard, or on the vineyard, so they can go pick their grapes and throw them right into the process for making wine. And if you all don't know the wine process, there are plenty of videos on YouTube, some very good videos on how wines are made. However, not every single wine vineyard, not every single wine maker makes their wines the same. And that's how you always get a different taste or different little nuances in every single bottle. So definitely look into that. Sauvignon Blancs can come in a variety of styles. You can get your sparkling wine, so you can get, your cork bottle pop on if you want. But most of them are going to be light-bodied, and they're similar to dessert wines. So like I said, if you're into Riesling or a sweeter wine to pair with your dinner or just to drink alone, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, those are going to be your go-tos. This particular one, like I said, we're going to try it today because, like I said, the little sip that I had last night, I don't even remember. I think I blacked out right here on my couch in my man cave. Yeah, I was that sleepy. Anyway, let's get to it. We got our trusty wine glass. Yes, the wine glass does make a difference with the ability to smell your wine. It does make a difference with aerating your wine, the swirl effect, how much heat is actually going to get to it. And we'll go into a wine glass etiquette video much later. We'll probably do that one with Tiffany. That'll be fun. But anyway, let's crack open this one. That was a nice little hiss out of that. That's good. So, anyway, let's let that pour. We're not going to go too crazy because, one, I have not had dinner yet. They just asked Tiff to order a pizza. I don't know if that has happened yet. So hopefully I get dinner back. This is our Noble Vines 242. Let's get a good smell. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So right off jump, of course, that acid hits you, but of course we did just pour it, so give it some time to really do, off gas and let it breathe and get some good aromatics going. Swirling the wine, that's part of how you get that going. It also takes out a little bit of the harshness that you get from the wine. Same thing with whiskey. More so with whiskey though, you want to let it sit. You can put ice or water in it and let that kind of do its thing. But we're talking about wine. So right off jump, I'm definitely getting the grapes. Getting kind of a lemon, if not a peach. Like a really crisp peach, like a peach. And then this is gonna sound weird, and I have heard of this before. There is a slight essence of cat pee. And yeah, I said it, cat piss. Yeah, it's in there. Not that this particular vineyard, fertilizes their grapes with cat pee, because that would just be ew. But no, it's there's certain chemicals, and I know you might cringe when I say chemicals, but just bear with me. There's certain chemical reactions that happen during the wine, either the wine making process or during the wine aging process, that causes these particular chemicals, and I'll get you the name in a second, to give off a certain smell. And like I said, the most memorable or most notable thing to relate that smell to, so that you understand what I mean, is cat pee. If you have a cat, you know what cat pee smells like. If you've been around a cat that has just recently peed, you know what cat pee smells like. But anyway, this is not cat pee. It is very fruity. It is very sweet. Or at least it smells sweet. And it smells very acidic. I'm not really into acidic wines like this. Pinot Noir, the Pinot Grigio that's behind me. It's just on Pinot Grigios. I don't know. So I probably won't even enjoy that one. You'll see that one next week. I'm good with the smell. Go ahead and get a taste of it. That's a very clean wine. That's a very clean, crisp wine. I'm definitely, like I said, of course you're tasting the grapes, but I'm definitely tasting that white peach, or just peach, period. It's not extremely fruity, like it does, all the fruits aren't popping out at you. There's a minerality to it, almost like stone. And when I say something like that, like stone, you remember as a kid when you were playing and you got knocked down, Big Timmy from up the street came down being a big bully and decided to push you into the dirt, and you end up getting sand all in your mouth. Or you were playing baseball, you ran into, or you slid in to get to the base, and you just got a ass full of dust in the mouth. Yeah, you remember crunching on that sand. You've been to the beach. As a kid. If you were at the beach and as a kid and you didn't get sand in your mouth, I don't want to know what you were doing, and I probably don't want to be friends with you if you've never. Yeah, just yeah. There's a minerality taste to it. There is that acid element, of course, from the alcohol, from the aging process. It's not vinegary, but it's clean. It's, if nothing else, it's a clean acidic taste to it. It's not overpowering at all. It's more palate cleansing. So it's kind of like if you just ate something and you wanted to rinse your mouth, of course, from whatever you just ate. That would definitely be a good palate cleansing sip. So, after that, if you wanted to pair it with something, which that's one of the things that most people do with wines. They want to know what they can pair it with, what you should be eating with dinner. With this, definitely, not just because it's a white wine, definitely going to go with a fish, any kind of a fish. This would be great with one of my salmon recipes. I might cook one of those and throw that video on Instagram. Not doing a cooking channel on YouTube, sorry. Definitely a fish. some shrimp. Any of the lighter seafoods, I wouldn't do this wine with like a crab boil or a heavily seasoned shrimp boil or something like that. I wouldn't do that. The flavors would kind of just compete to me. And I think you want something to pair with. You want something to work together to really enjoy it. So that when you're enjoying your food and you're enjoying the wine. This is a very enjoyable wine. Now, like I said, so if we go to not our notes, we go over, like I said, there's a light acidity to it. Definitely tasting the grapes. I'm tasting some lemon, at least some lemon notes. There is mango, peach, like a white peach going on. It has a cream effect to it. It's a very nice wine. I can honestly say this is one I will more than likely pick up again. It coats your mouth nicely, like real nice. And now, sadly, one note too. This is at room temperature because it took me forever to get this whole setup together. This is the man cave, and usually I'm sitting there staring that way because this is my projector wall, and so having all of my lights and the camera and everything set up here took forever. So the wine did get to room temperature. This is definitely one that you want to serve chilled. I'm kind of wishing I would have popped it in the fridge for a quick second or put it in a little bucket of ice. I do have a bucket over there. I don't know why I didn't put ice in it. So a few more things I said about this one. Like I said, definitely you want it on ice or want it a little bit chill. You don't want any wine for that matter. You don't want it cold. You don't want it like super duper cold, like you had it in the fridge forever. No, you don't want that, because what ends up happening, at least in what I've found over my years of drinking, so my extensive experience, when you have a wine in the fridge, especially after a couple of hours, or just overnight, really, you end up getting it ends up being too cold to the point that you can't really taste anything. You're tasting nothing but straight grape and alcohol, and maybe every now and then you're tasting tannins, and I'll explain that one later. Not in this video, but later. So yeah, you don't want that. If you want to be able to taste your wine and really get all of the flavors out of it, then leave your wine out, leave it on the table or on the cabinet or somewhere, or if you have a wine cellar, leave it in your wine cellar. And then probably about, depending on how you want to cool it off, probably about an hour to 30 minutes before you're getting ready to drink it, put it in its ice bucket or ice bath, pop it in the fridge. Just don't let it get too cold. Most wine websites will show you what temperature is best served at. Go by that. Trust me, you're not going to really be able to enjoy it if you don't put it at the right temperature. Most Sauvignon Blancs you're going to get are going to be very highly acidic. With this one, I'm very surprised. I can honestly say Noble Vines, because like I said, I don't really like acidic wines. I just feel like they take too much out of the wine for you to really enjoy it. I'm not getting a high level of acidity from this one. Really not. Like I said, this one is very enjoyable. Moving on, food pairings. Let's see. Wonderful choices with a wonderful choice with the herb-driven, or would-be. I can't read. The alcohol is taking effect. I can't read. Lord help me. And my light is dying. What is going on with this? I just charged you. Most of the food pairings that you're gonna have with these wines, or most white wines, they even say it here. You got your chicken, your tofu, your fish. Cheeses. We'll probably do a charcuterie board one day. So you got your feta, I do not know how to say that cheese. CHE with the accent mark, VRE. Whatever the hell that is. Anyway, can be paired with Asian flavors, Thai, Vietnamese cuisines. I can definitely see that. I can definitely taste some like a teriyaki chicken with some lo mein noodles and vegetables with this. Yeah, this one is from Monterey, California, but the grape itself originates from France, Bordeaux region, just to be specific. And most Pinot Noirs, it's a body. They're going to be kind of on the very small body, lighter side. Sweetness. This is a dry, so it's definitely down on that drier side. However, it's very fruity, and so that fruit element kind of gives to the whole sweetness astringency. That's a word you don't want to ever describe your wine with. Astringency. This is not a cleaning product. Acidity, once again, it's saying it's high for Sauvignon Blancs. Alcohol level is pretty medium. Fun facts about some wines. All of the tips that I'm reading are off of Wine Foley. I'll leave a link in the description to this particular article, so you can read up on it. So, because I'm not reading the entire article, I'm just taking clips out of it. So thank you, Wine Foley, for allowing me to read your article. It's public knowledge, so anybody can go see it. So I doubt they were ever responsible for it. I don't want you to, by the way, because like I said, for anybody, if you send me wine, I'm giving a very honest review. If your wine is I'm going to tell the world your wine is But then again, that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's see, May 3rd is considered International Sauvignon Blanc Day. I'm putting that on my calendar. Sauvignon Blancs likely derives its moniker from the French word sauvage, or I would say sauvage. Anyway, meaning wild, as the vines are reminiscent of wild grapevines. Until the 1980s, most of the Sauvignon Blancs in Chile turned out to be rarer Sauvignon Vert, mistakenly brought over from Bordeaux, France, like I said, where Sauvignon Blanc grapes are originated. Let me say, a real tasting note for Sauvignon is cat pee. See, even they say cat piss. Ew, it's just disgusting. Caused by a unique chemical compound, 4-MMP. There aren't many other scents like it. So like I said, that's how, it's a chemical. I don't know. That's a good one. I'm hearing commotion downstairs, which lets me know that dinner is possibly ready, if not walking through the door, or currently on fire, which means I need to get downstairs. Thank you guys for watching. Doing these hopefully weekly if I remember. Like I said, I'm probably gonna have to do these in batches, but just to keep my palate clean so I can give you guys honest and accurate reviews. Thank you guys. We're gonna go definitely in depth with a lot of these wines. I'm gonna be picking out these wines. None of these wines are gonna be sponsored. They will be purchased out of my own money. So if I pick up a horrible tasting wine, I will regrettably be drinking it and have paid for it. But I don't want you guys to do the same thing. So I'm happy being a guinea pig for you, especially because it means I could possibly get drunk. That's just the love that I have for you guys and wine, more so for wine. I love you guys, but I like the wine a little bit more. Anyway, hit that like and subscribe button if this was helpful. Definitely hit that subscribe button for all of the other ones. You can also see this one coming out hopefully next weekend. Also, the wine that I made in today's opening, we will do a more in-depth video about my process of making wine, and then also we'll keep on recording that footage because that one right now is in the fermentation process. We're going to be bottling it. We're going to be putting it into a carboy. We're going to be bottling it. We're going to be taste testing and showing you my different techniques on how I get my wines tasting the way I get them. Until then, you guys, definitely keep in tune for all the other videos. Check out some of our T'Challa videos and some of my weekly rants and weekly vlogs. Just just keep us in mind throughout, or keep us on your cell phone. Watch us while you're sitting on it. Greatly appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Deuces. Gonna be another lot. I don't care that you have to restart. Just go ahead and restart. Salad. Like seafood dishes. It is 9:15. It better be food downstairs.